You may know him from the TV series Entourage, where he portrayed Turtle for 8 seasons. 8 seasons?
8 seasons.
8 seasons. You might know him from the movie franchise that they've made two of these smash movies. It's the what is it? Think Like a Man.
Think Like a Man. Yes.
Think Like
did your research.
Of course I did. I'm not taking it lightly. We got Jerry Ferrara on the line. What's up, Jerry?
How's it going, man? Happy to be on this phone with you right now.
Oh well, thank you. You, young man, sir, are you're a bit of a Renaissance guy. You do acting, obviously, but you are a restaurateur, right? You have
that is true. Yeah.
What is the name of your restaurant?
It's a sandwich shop called Fat Sal's, which was started with 2 good friends of mine. And being from New York, we always wanted to open something out in L.A. that has like an East Coast feel to it. And they kind of changed that brand a little bit, but it's Fat Sandwiches, which kind of started in Jersey by Rutgers University.
Yeah.
And it's just the most ridiculous thing on a sandwich you could ever think of. Like, I created my sandwich called the Fat Jerry, and I just started throwing random stuff out there thinking, like, all right, they're going to stop me at some point, and they kind of never stopped me.
You just kept piling it on. Because over by Rutgers in New Brunswick, there would be the grease trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
And you'd go there, and it basically would be this kind of like circle of trucks, and people would make these sandwiches where it's like a hamburger on it, and then they put French fries and mozzarella sticks and anything that can kind of fit in the bun, and then you eat it, and then you get walked over to Robert Johnson Hospital, which is just about 6 blocks away, to get checked out because you're clearly either you're trying to do something to yourself. I don't know. You might be considered a threat to yourself by eating the wrong fat sandwich. So, what is the Fat Jerry Ferrara?
Oh God, the Fat Jerry. This is, I guess you could say, is the closest thing to our breakfast type sandwich because there are some eggs on it. It's like fried egg, mozzarella sticks, chicken fingers, French fries, Philly cheesesteak. And I want to say like mayo or something. And the first one opened up by UCLA in Westwood out here, and it is by like the UCLA Medical Center too. So you can just walk right over there too if you're feeling a little faintish.
So that's
they'll take care of you.
That's the West Coast equivalent. Head over.
It's been great. We're on to we just opened the 4th one up in Austin, Texas. So who knew, man? Sandwiches, bro. I'm like Jared. Sandwiches.
You're just like Jared. You're just like Jared. So you, Jerry Ferrara, who people can get on Twitter at, was it Jerry C. Ferrara?
Jerry C. Ferrara, yeah. Someone's squatting on Jerry Ferrara, so I had to use the middle initial, which makes my mom very happy because she likes my middle name.
What is your middle name? Can I guess? Is it Christopher?
Sure.
Christopher?
No.
No. Charles?
Here, you want? I was about to give you a hint. I was about to say he's in charge.
Oh, that's Charles. I know. I didn't even see.
Yep, Jerry Charles Ferrara. Weird thing to it.
Nobody ever called you JC?
Yes, JC, but that's where the C comes from in the Twitter handle.
So people can go talk to you over at Jerry C. Ferrara on Twitter. You are also a podcaster now. Like everybody, you've thrown your hat in the ring now with podcasting.
Can we say that this is the golden era of podcasting? We've had the golden era of TV. We've had the golden era of cinema. I feel like those are kind of gone now. It's like the golden era of podcasting. Yeah. I grew up with like an insane love for sports talk radio. I didn't have a TV in my room, so I used to listen to the radio to go to sleep, and then obviously like Howard Stern and all that. And this is just like my little kind of side dream of like being a radio host, much like yourself, although I don't do it on your scale. So what podcasts allow you to do, obviously, is do it on a small scale and still feel like you're doing it. So that's been the whole point.
And your show is called Bad for Business.
Yes, because my girlfriend is my producer, and a lot can go wrong with that situation.
You scream? You two scream at each other?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it's weird. Like, we're kind of nice to each other on the show, but then we're, like, brushing our teeth at night is where the tooth comes out.
In the unlikeliest of places. How much of you is Turtle? Which that makes me wonder now. How much of you is Turtle?
Look, I think that there's enough of everyone in whatever character they're playing. I'm not trying to get all actory on you because I hate those conversations, but
yeah.
Like, I'd like to think that there's a little bit of Daniel Day-Lewis and Abraham Lincoln. I'm not trying to compare myself to Daniel Day-Lewis by any stretch, but the point is like, yes, there are definitely similarities to myself and the character, but you know, there's also wide differences. Like, I don't live with 3 other dudes like we did on the show.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to think I'm a little more reserved. Like, I lived through that character because I definitely did not have the freedom to kind of, or the confidence to walk up to girls the way he did. And I think I'm a little more motivated and driven than he was. You know, he was a stoner, which I could relate to in my own way, but you know, he was a late bloomer, and I like to think that I maybe got a much earlier start.
Sure. Now, did you find it? How about this? Did you become more like this guy as time went on? Suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm turning into this. I'm living in this character too much. It's starting to rub off on me.
You know, it sucks. It's like, look, Entourage was such a fun show. I honestly really do not believe I will ever get a better job. What I mean by that is,
no, I don't believe that. You got something else.
I hopefully, but what I mean is, like, God, it was just so. Maybe it's because I was so much younger, and like I love all the guys that we did the show with, and you know, it's shot in L.A. and that's where I live, and rarely do things shoot where you live anymore, and it just was so much fun. Like, I just can't even explain. I know a lot of actors say that, like, oh, I love the cast, and maybe they mean it, maybe they don't. I legitimately mean it. Like, it just was an amazing show to just be a part of, and I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just it was just a good run.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I was going. I forgot what the original question.
Yeah, no, you did. You answered. So when you were doing this thing, though, you're now a dude out in L.A. You're an East Coast guy, right? Living in L.A.
Yeah.
And now you go audition for this thing. What was that? What did that? How many times did you have to go in and audition before you got the part?
Legitimately, probably like 50.
50.
Oh yeah, and like, you know, the first part of the process obviously is like, you know, you just go in and your first step is get past the casting director, and then you get past the casting director, and then you go to producer. Then they start pairing you up with other people they think are right for it, all leading towards the final network test. And so I got paired up with so many different people. And I do remember you get to the network test for HBO, and there's always like 3 people, maybe more, but usually about 3 per character. I'm trying to look around and see who the other turtles are.
Yeah.
I clocked the other 2.
Yeah, so you're sitting in the room. Would you go in and you sit in the room, you're looking at 18 other turtles?
I'm looking at like 3 or 4 other turtles, but then it's weird. Then you look over and you see the Vince section, then you see the Eric section.
Yeah.
Then you see and then the Johnny Drama section was only Kevin Dillon. Kevin Dillon basically had the part. He didn't know it, and they still made him test. And I remember when he finally got that information, he was like, well, I wish you would have told me that because I really wouldn't have showed up for the test. Yeah,
he didn't have to show it. He had it locked down.
And I remember, like, I was so nervous. It was my first real big test. And I walk into the room, and Mark Wahlberg was in there. And it just was one of those, like you kind of flinch. It's like, oh, wow, there's Wahlberg. There he is, right there. So I was a little nervous, did my first scene, then they kick you out of the room. And then then they pair you up with someone. And Wahlberg, who I had not met at the time, came outside and points at me and is like, come here, I want to talk to you. I'm like, oh, God. I'm like getting called into the scariest principal's office in the world. Yeah. And he's like, listen, I watched all your tapes. He's like, you are this guy. Like, you got it. Don't be nervous. Don't worry about what the script says. Go do what you were doing. He's like, he kind of gave me the, like, you're blowing it. Yeah. Talk.
Yeah, he's telling you to loosen up. So what did you do? You went out of the car, you smoked a little bit of God's green herb, loosened up a little bit?
No, I just went rogue. I went into the room and I just went like, I'm going to destroy. I don't remember who they paired me up with, but my mentality was like, I have to destroy this guy. And I don't remember what I said, but all I remember is, like, everyone in the room started laughing, and then the worst part is, like, they start sending people home.
Yeah, not making the
So
cut.
they whittle it down, and literally I remember plain as day being in the room with Kevin Dillon, Kevin Connolly, and Adrian was not in L.A., who played Vince at that time, and there was someone else there, but the 3 out of 4 were on that stage, the last people there, and I got the call an hour later.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Long
That's
story.
very exciting.
Sorry, that was a long-winded.
No, that was it. People want to know what this is like. 50 auditions. That's crazy. So you
Easily.
know what's crazy now, though, also, Jerry Ferrara, is that you, on the show Entourage, for people who don't know, it's about a movie star, and it's got all these, his pals from the old neighborhood who hang out with him and kind of complete his world, is that you were like the driver, the goofball, but in real life, you're Vince. You're the Vince.
That's very flattering. I like to think I'm a little more stable than the Vince character was. I guess, I'd much rather kind of be the turtle character. It's so much less stressful and a lot more fun. But
but you still.
I mean,
you got stuff going on. You got hit movies now. You got restaurants. Trucks, not restaurants, but restaurants with wheels on them. You got stuff going on. You're all diversified now.
And you know what, Tom? You know what's nice too is I'm 35 years old now, and I'm finally, for the first time, like relaxing and like looking back a little bit. And in no means am I like done and ready for retirement. I'm close to semi-retirement because I'm just lazy. But now I'm at the point where it's like, you know what? No matter what happens from here, I'm good. Like, I feel like I snuck into the club and I'm waiting for the bouncer to come shine the light on me and say, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And like,
what's that
I
like?
don't know, maybe that
I don't know.
gonna come.
I'm still in terms of life. I'm the guy outside. I'm in the bathroom mopping up your vomit.
No, come on, man.
That's where I am.
Look how easy this got done, dude.
You'd be in there.
You
throw. Oh, great! Jerry Ferrara just horked in the men's room. Let me go get the bucket. At least I get to.
One tweet from you, and you had my attention and fully committed on this show. That's all it took, man. Give yourself some credit.
All right, I'll take a little credit. So you, Jerry Ferrara, it's exciting. 8 seasons of Entourage. Everybody was a huge fan of the show, and you know what the funny thing is that you are on it. You watched 8 seasons of this thing. People go, Entourage is it's done now. I don't like it anymore. And then they're like, oh, I like it again now. Oh, like, so you're watching all that, but then it turns out all of a sudden, at the end of the day, everybody wants more of it. So you guys actually, there's all this talk. We're going to do a movie, and it takes like forever for this movie to get done. But the movie gets done. Now it's coming out. When's it coming out? The Entourage movie.
June 5th. It will be out, and the trailer is up on Facebook and YouTube and all those various things I don't know too much about.
Sure.
But, the trailer's up. It was very, very well received.
Yeah.
And the movie's good, which is obviously I might be a little selfish saying that, but like it really turned out better than I could have even imagined, which is good.
Yeah. Oh, good.
You worry, like, did we wait too long? Did we wait, did we do it too soon? I think the timing is actually right. I don't think we could wait any longer, or else we'll be doing it from an old age home.
No, because then all of a sudden it'll be, you'll be doing Entourage and you got Dancing with the Stars. Like Vince will be on Dancing with the Stars. And you'll be. That
might have been a reference at one point that I think got cut from the movie.
Uh-oh. Now, in this movie, look, I'm not expecting you to give us the whole plot of this thing, of course. Everybody can go see it when it comes out in June. Give us one thing. Give me one scrap. One morsel of something that we can look forward to.
Of something. I'll give you like 3 small things that add up to a morsel. I don't know if this is a morsel.
Okay. These are sub-morsels that will turn like a Voltron into a full morsel.
Like, you know what? I lost the yellow Voltron, and I still haven't recovered. I was walking around minus the yellow, whatever it was, and a great Voltron reference, by the way.
Before you give these morsels, this guy Mike, who's my associate producer here, just asked me. He wants to know His least favorite thing, and I told him this is a positive interview. He was so mad at this Dom plot line on Entourage. He hated Dom, so he would come in every week. Dom this, Dom that. Because he thought Dom was going to force his way in like a fifth guy. I was like, don't worry. There's 4 guys.
First and foremost,
Don't worry, Mike.
Played by Dominic Lombardozzi, who's one of my dear friends. Dom starred in the show with one of the other, if not maybe the best HBO show of all time, The Wire. He played Herc on The Wire. Phenomenal actor, phenomenal guy. Dom was in the mix, I think, to play one of these characters early on when the show was a little bit darker.
Yeah.
So Doug Allen, the creator of the show, has always loved Dom, so he literally wrote, obviously, the Dom character for Dom. And it was, by design, made for you to not really love him. Because, yes, he came in, he infiltrated the group, and then, everybody kind of wanted him gone. I thought it was a great character. I totally understood that character. I've known, like, when a friend of mine has, like, come to visit from New York and visit me in L.A., like, the kind of damage that could be caused by that. So I related to it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But a lot of people agree when you're a producer and kind of wanted Dom off the island.
No,
but
I'm telling you, look, this guy Mike, he might have brought a little bit of this to the table himself where he needs to get a little perspective on things. But he was like, it's like, they're not going to add a fifth guy. This isn't the Brady Bunch, Mike. And the one when he started trying to take the pan and do all the cooking, Mike did not like that.
Yeah, he had to give me a dead arm in the show because his character wanted to drive, so he punches me in the arm. And I remember them asking me early in that day, hey, Jerry, you want like an arm pad or something? Because Dom has to punch you, and Dom's a relatively big guy. Yeah. And obviously he's still pulling it. I'm like, nah, I didn't want to come off as like, a lightweight. I wanted to show I could take it. Dude, I had a black and blue from the top of my shoulder to the bottom of my elbow from Dom punching me in the arm.
Because for people who don't know, this guy Dom, he looks like Mr. Clean on steroids, right?
He's a big, strong guy. He can be intimidating, but if you get to know him as a friend, like I have all these years, he's got a heart of gold, and he's a damn good actor.
Sure. No, he's been in all sorts of things. Like he works all the time. That guy. So what are these morsels? Like, we need the sub-morsels before.
The morsels. Okay. The morsels. The Ari character is back running the...
That's not a morsel. We knew he was back.
Let me finish.
Oh, you're right. Fair enough. I will let you finish.
He's back running the studio now, and his first job out of the gate is a high-financed Vincent Chase movie that Vincent Chase is directing. Okay. Going the Ben Affleck route.
Sure.
Directing, writing, starring. That's a sub-morsel that's going to go somewhere.
Okay.
Next sub-morsel is, and it has to do with my character, and you see it in the trailer, great cameo by Ronda Rousey. And a lot of you saw in the trailer, listening, hopefully you saw it. I get in the octagon with her, and I could answer the age-old question, like, Ronda Rousey would beat the living heck out of me in about 8 seconds flat. So tiny sub-morsel, that's going to go somewhere.
Okay.
And then the cameos are just, in true Entourage fashion, we get all the old regulars in there, Bob Saget, Andrew Dice Clay, everyone you've grown to love from the show, and just, there's a Gronkowski sighting, I can't give too much away.
Don't go. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want you getting disinvited from the premiere because you said too much.
Russell Wilson, a lot of good athletes in there, off the charts.
Did you meet Gronk? Do you know Gronk? That guy Gronk?
I met that guy Gronk. Yes, he was on set, and obviously he wasn't a Super Bowl champion yet at that moment, but a nice guy, fun guy. You could tell he likes to have fun. I'm not breaking news by saying that. No,
he looks like the kind of guy who... if football didn't work out for him, he'd be like renting jet skis or something like that. Right?
I mean, good. What a great guy. Like, you could party with that guy. If some beef breaks out, you could probably fight. Like, I don't know. I'd party with Gronk any day.
Well, he'd be the guy when you go rent a jet ski and then you're also looking to buy weed. He'd be the guy who would tell you where to buy weed. And when you're going to rent a jet ski, he'd hook you up.
It is pretty crazy to see. It really was like a theme park attraction in a way, to see a guy that big and to think that, like, oh my, like, this guy it runs like a 4.64. It's just insane to think something that large could move that fast.
Sure. Yeah. So look, those I'm going to say add up to, that's half a morsel. Anybody who pays attention to the trailer could have got those, but I'm not going to put you under the microscope either. People got to go pay to see the movie.
I didn't say.
Oh, I know what you did. Look.
To get me in trouble.
Oh, I know. It was it was a little tap dance you did. You tap danced your way away from giving anything away, which is all you know what? Honestly, I didn't want you to give anything away. Because I want everybody to see the thing and be surprised when the movie comes out. Everybody can go see it.
Enjoy it.
Of course. I know. So tell us, we have a couple questions coming in here from fans. Gabe wants to know, who is your turtle?
I don't really have one. It's sad. You would have thought after all these years, maybe I would have had one. I'm sorry, it's not more interesting answer, Gabe, but, I never really had a turtle. I kind of like to drive myself around. I don't really roll deep like that. I feel like it just slows me down. I feel like I can get in and out of places a lot quicker without having 3 or 4 dudes with me.
Sure. No, of course.
Sorry, Gabe.
All right. So, Gabe, better luck next time with your question. What's the worst thing anybody said to you when you're just out and about? Being a normal dude who happens to be on a TV show and be in movies. Like, do people mistake you for the character and then they scream turtle and you're just like, all right, that's enough. I'm not turtle.
Look, that used to happen, and still, it actually, believe it or not, it did happen today. It actually happened today. Someone driving by. It used to happen a lot, especially in the early seasons,
Sure.
And I guess because, you're on TV, you're in people's homes, they feel like they know you, so, I don't think anyone had any of that, and I don't really have a large body of work to go off of before this, so people definitely jumped to that. It has changed now that it's been 10 years since it started. It's a lot more Jerry and people kind of knowing my full name, but it still does happen, and I think I have a good way of looking at that. Look, if you're obnoxious, you're obnoxious. That's just the bottom line.
Sure.
You're going to come up and scream and invade private, personal space and, touch and all that. I don't care what you're calling me. That's just not cool. But, look, if you come up cool, I don't expect you to know my name. And if you watch the show, and I get it, you want me to be that. So I wouldn't be talking to you right now if there wasn't Entourage and Turtle. I'm not on this phone call with you most likely. Fair point. So, I don't know. I've always had a pretty realistic thought. It's given me so many good things in my life. I don't care. I know it's not going to be like that the rest of my life, and if it is, not that bad of an outcome.
Yeah, look, who knows? 15 years from now. On the flip
side, I've had really bad things said that weren't just people coming up saying turtle. There's
what's the worst thing? What's the worst thing?
Website. There was a website designed in the very early years, and there still was websites and everything. Wasn't like a Facebook or a Twitter page. There was a website designed to kill my character off. And there was poll questions on how should we do it. That one, my mom didn't like that one.
No, sure. She shouldn't.
I've had people get so disappointed when I won't smoke weed with them. It's like I told them there's no Santa Claus when they come up to me and they're like, "Yo, you want to go smoke a blunt?" I'm like, "Hey, I don't really do that much anymore, or whatever." And if I did, I don't know, I'm not going to smoke your strange weed. I don't know you.
Exactly. Some weirdos putting PCP in it. Next thing you know, you're running down the middle of Melrose in your underwear, screaming.
Keep thinking of Chris Tucker in Friday when he said he smoked dust by accident. Next thing you know, I'm in Debo's pigeon coop. So I wasn't up for that. But I've had some terrible things said to me.
Well,
man.
I'm sorry. On behalf of those, I apologize on behalf of the general public.
No, I've had great, dude. I've gotten a lot of love, more love than hate. So it's all good.
All right. Couple more things, and we'll let you go. I want to ask you, let me see how you know about your own body of work. I'm going to name a character you played, and you have to tell me the thing that he was in. You ready?
Jesus.
Here we go.
God.
Vivo.
Wow, that I remember. That was the first movie I ever did. That is a film called Cross Bronx, which is what got me my first audition in Entourage.
All right. Let's see here. Joe Buckner.
Joe Buckner?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
7 Days in Utopia.
You didn't even wait. You didn't even
No.
warm me
Look,
up.
we got to move here. We got to move.
That's how you pull a muscle.
I'm not going to let you look it up on IMDb.
7 Days in Utopia, a golf movie.
Dean.
Dean. Yes. That was Las Vegas.
That's right.
With starring Mr. Robert De Niro.
Okay, student number 2.
Many of my earlier projects. You can pick one. Grounded for Life, King of Queens, City Guys. Pick one.
Well, that's not accurate because for everybody who knows, on King of Queens you played Joey, and on Grounded for Life you played Drew.
So is this? Oh my God!
One more, and then I'm going to let you off the hook with this.
Okay.
Let's see. One more. Haslert.
Sergeant Haslert. That was Battleship. That was You Sunk My... No!
No!
Lone Survivor.
That was Lone Survivor. Battleship, you played Samson Jude Strodell.
Oh, well, great. Now I feel like a total idiot.
No, it's fine. You know what, you're supposed to be home staring at your IMDb all night? Memorizing it? You did the thing. You move on to the next thing. Final thing. How do you fix the Knicks, Jerry Ferrara? Fix the Knicks for me right now.
Oh my Lord!
What do you do? You walk Phil Jackson into the Hudson?
Look, the simple, easy fix. First, the fact that they didn't get Dragic was absolutely depressing. I look around the NBA, and all I see are, besides the obvious 3 Hall of Fame players, every competitive team has a great point guard. The Knicks have not had a great point guard since Clyde Frazier. Yeah. So I think, of course, you get a big man in the draft, try and sign Marc Gasol for sure, but I think priority. We need a floor general point guard leader.
Yeah, not what's his face with the gun running around on the floor. Remember when he was like, I thought his gun was going to fall out of his shorts.
Ray Felton?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Travesty.
Ray Felton. It is nice when you're watching the game and you see Ray Felton's a late scratch due to an arrest for illegal gun charges.
Yeah, exactly. He's the kind of guy who you would expect. He could either be on the floor or you could see him on the 4th of July at a competitive eating contest.
Which is crazy because 4 years before this, before we traded for Carmelo Anthony, he was having like an all-star year with Amari Stoudemire in his first year, and then we got him back 30 pounds later.
Yep, 30 exactly. Don't worry, they come back to the Knicks when they're nice and logy, like they just.
What do you do? Are you a Knicks fan?
Yeah.
So you're miserable like me. What do you do?
What do I do?
Phil Jackson should have coached.
I shuttle Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson sucks. This guy.
He should have took the heat for the first season, and he laid Fisher out to dry.
No, he's half asleep. This guy, they should have never hired this guy. He's half asleep. I think Phil Jackson's the most overrated guy in the history of sports. He never coached a team without a top 10 all-time player on it.
I mean, wasn't there reports, I think they've been nullified, but that he was like somewhere in the Bahamas during the trade deadline and All-Star break and wasn't available and could not get Wi-Fi to pitch in on the Goran Dragic deal?
Yeah, of course not.
I think that was not true, but what a great story.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The Knicks still have Cole Aldrich and Langston Galloway to take them all the distance.
I've been tweeting that the Cole Aldrich era has begun since November 24th. I remember I watched the game, and that's when the Cole Aldrich era. I do like Langston, though. I mean, I think he'd be a good little piece.
Yeah, he's all right he's all right for a fantasy basketball team, but not in real life. You got somebody just is flipping out here. This guy on Twitter, Alexis, says, "Hey, what are you talking about?" And he puts a picture with no great point guard since Walt Frazier. Puts a picture of Charlie Ward up. Come on, you dummy. That's not a good.
You know, it was his second best sport.
Yeah,
which was
exactly.
always interesting too. It was Charlie Ward's second best sport, and I did like Charlie Ward a lot.
Yeah.
But,
well,
they had that great run as the 8th seed that year, or the 7th seed. I forget.
Was it? They were the 8th seed. 1999.
Free will.
1999. So, Jerry Ferrara, people can get you over at Jerry C. Ferrara on Twitter. You got this podcast now, Bad 4, number 4 business. Where do people get that? Over at iTunes?
Yeah, that's on iTunes like most of them, and we do have the website, B for B-E-N-T. But yeah, iTunes is always the easiest way, and thank you for that, because being a fan of radio and podcasts, and I've gone before I did this, I listened to a lot of your stuff, and you're doing it right, man. Keep doing
well, that's sweet of you to say. Mike wants to know if you're a huge Mike Francesa fan.
I am. I mean, that's what I grew up on, you know? Like, there's times where I also disagree vehemently, but also, like, that's what I grew up listening to, you know? So that's part of my upbringing.
Mm-hmm. Mike went and saw him at this thing called Francesa Con. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Mike was at that. Irving Plaza. He was at Francesa Con.
He's a fan. I guess he's a big fan.
Yeah. Somebody also, one more question, then we'll wrap it up.
Sure.
Which Beatle is, if the Entourage guys are the Beatles, who is who?
I mean, I guess Vince is John. I'm trying to think. The hard part is who's Paul. I don't know. Paul would be E. I think I'm definitely, no, Johnny Drama is probably Ringo.
Yeah.
I would need a lot of time to think about. That's a really good question. I might do that on my podcast.
Well, look,
I might steal one of your listeners' topics for a podcast.
Well, I'll give it to you right now. Eric is John Lennon because he's sour and crabby. You got Vince is Paul because he's cute. You're George because nobody knows what you're going to do next, and you got more potential up your sleeve than people think. And then Johnny Drama is Ringo because he's a buffoon. But once in a while, he impresses everybody.
And now I don't even. Now you just cost me a whole podcast.
There you go. Sorry, look, you're the one throwing your hat in my ring. This is competitive. You don't see me audition for Entourage.
Touché, my friend. You won.
Well, Jerry, this has been a total blast. I appreciate it, and people can check you out on Twitter, Jerry C. Ferrara. We check your podcast out, Bad for Business, and the Entourage movie comes out in June.
Thank you so much, man. Anytime, literally. If you want to have me on, it would be an absolute pleasure. Just,
well, thanks so much.
Get in touch.
You have a great night. Take care, buddy.
All right, be well.
Thanks. How about that, Mike? Mike doesn't like it. Mike was so mad about Dom being on the show. I remember he would come in, veins bursting, just worried. I hope this guy doesn't become the fourth member of the Entourage. Because there's 5 guys, but one, because Vince is not in the Entourage. He is the, we should have talked to him about how we tried to write the Entourage movie on the air. Remember that? No sneakers questions. Didn't even get to talk about his dog, Arnold.